everyone. I am here with Heidi West, the Chief Revenue Officer of Merge.
How are you doing, Heidi?
I'm good. This is our episode of Riding in Golf Carts with Executives. It's a fun way to talk about healthcare, personalization, AI, and agentic AI. Because I know that Heidi likes turtles, be prepared for a little bit of turtle analogy.
We're going there.
We're getting out of our shell.
But I'm bummed.
We are in the beautiful town of Pawleys Island, and I have to ask you, did you see the gray man?
I didn't, but I think some other folks did, knowing that a hurricane might have been approaching us. But luckily, the gray man warns us of hurricanes.
Exactly.
And we're all safe.
I know you spent some time at Zoom in the middle of online rush with doctors. Tell us what that was like.
Chaotic. A lot of responsibility in making sure a doctor and a patient could connect through video conferencing. It became critical and felt a high level of responsibility to make sure it worked and that people were able to get the care they needed. Prior to Zoom, I've been in health IT for 30 years, more on the technology network side. Spent 15 years at Cisco, worked for Citrix and Tanix, worked a little bit with the big data company Axiom, as well as a little bit of consulting with Booz Allen Hamilton. I've run the course of hardware, software, virtualization, data, consulting, ended up Merge, where I feel finally figured out where patient engagement and connection really lives, and it's with marketing.
If I was a turtle and haven't heard about AI, how would you explain agentic prompting changing the way consumers interact with healthcare and retail?
I'm amazed how quickly people have caught on to the value of AI. It's not just a search engine anymore. People are self-diagnosing more than ever, different ways to receive care, all sorts of opportunities. I'm just amazed at how AI has created that even more informed consumer. I think more than anything, understanding what's available and recognizing how we can partner with consumers is more critical than ever. Historically, when you were looking at AI as a search engine on steroids, now with agentic, it can act for you. Imagine saying, I need to refill my prescriptions. I need to meet a particular specialist, instead of taking all this time trying to figure out who's within my network. How do I make sure I connect? If you think of the customer patient journey, trying to figure out the payer side, the provider side, getting your prescriptions, now you can have AI work on your behalf, and there can actually be actions taken to allow for results much quicker than you having to do all the work yourself. Historically, you had that family doctor everybody went to, and you just waited. And now, between having access to your medical information, being able to leverage AI to get some insights into what it's actually saying, a lot of what we see in our medical records in AI and it's layman's terms of what's going on. And then determine, do I really need to talk to my primary care physician? Is there someone available? Do I need to go to a specialist? It makes the consumer more informed, their next step, versus just doing what they've always done. There's a lot of choice in caring when you're not completely beholden to that care.
Let's talk personalization. Each turtle's journey is unique, so every human's journey is unique too. What are some things that are hyper personalized?
Today, from a healthcare standpoint, not enough. It's really just your medical record or having a different specialist or your payer knowing some insights, but I don't think there's nearly enough personalization. The opportunity for additional personalization is significant. Right now, you might have a website for a health system that is a chat bot that could give you insight. It could go into whatever your medical record is to find your next appointment. It's so common when there's so much opportunity. So what is available? My mom has cancer, 38-year survivor, lives with me, lost a leg, still trucking. She's got a lot of care, doctor's appointments. If I go to the cardiologist, then I have to go to the neurologist, then I have to go to my oncologist, then I have physical therapy for this, and I've got a pharmacy. The more care you need, the harder it is to manage. Having somebody be your concierge through that journey would be incredible. Knowing when you need your next appointment, scheduling it. In my mom's case, she gets rides to her care. That's personalized, recognizing the nuances and different specialists that you need in your care and doing it for you instead of you having to do the organization would be incredible. I think the other thing that's really challenging, I'm the sandwich generation, so I'm still in some degrees responsible for what's going on with my child, but I'm also responsible for my mom. We're reading her medical records, trying to figure out the next step. What does this mean? Are we changing her care? And there's all these in time. And who needs what? Do you need to swing back to the primary care provider to make a decision? What does the insurance company need? Not recommending a doctor that's out of network, knowing my insurance, knowing what my needs are, and setting up the appointment so that I'm not having to do all of that and coordinate it would be just an incredible value to anybody that's dealing with different kinds of care. More people are opting for the high deductible healthcare plans, maybe people younger that don't have a lot of issues, and come find out they want to maybe get some mental health or get something that is relevant to their space. And they're paying out of pocket unless it's these 5 doctors in your area where it's covered. We're leaving all of that responsibility right now to the patient to figure out. And I've heard personal stories of people that are ending up paying some of this care out of pocket when they didn't have to if they worked at the right provider. The full price transparency thing has been a conversation for a million years. Let's hope we get closer to that. There's nothing more frustrating when you just got an x-ray and then you go to see another doctor and they want an x-ray. The specialist won't get paid for the x-ray the primary asked for. So they say, it's different. No, it isn't. It's having that capability of sharing information. It's something I know healthcare wants to do. Now, technology, process governance, and compliance can recognize we're overdue to streamline care and make it easier for the patient and family.
You've got quite a story yourself. How do you see the power of storytelling shaping the digital side?
Most people realize there's an electronic medical record, and with electronic health records, you get access to information, but not necessarily all the unstructured data, the doctor's notes. You're not getting a lot of insight into
See the full story.
the full story of what's going on. Giving you access to your medical record is the first start. And then you think about marketing in healthcare, whether it's with a payer or provider, it's usually during open enrollment to let people know how to get care, how to get insurance for healthcare, wait times, certain specialists. Patients want to know, do you have transparency in your pricing? Do you have the ability for me to see a radiologist in an off hour and maybe save money? What are you doing in AI? What are you doing with different technology? People are smarter now, looking for that side of it, the chatbot, and being able to know where your next appointment is, which is great. Imagine all the outreach possible, letting patients in your community personalize to what matters to you. If you need a flu shot, go to this place at this time. They're serving meals, and that may matter to people that are food dependent or struggling with personalizing outreach in a digital format and the way people absorb it and have a better connection to your communities and what's available to them than sending a flyer. People consume information in different ways. But if you can send timely information that really matters to somebody at that time, I think that changes the game.
Who's doing it well?
I was at a conference last week. A lot of people ask that question episodically. Some people are doing it well, but not enough consistently. There are some children's hospitals already catering to the pediatric lens, what they do. But I think we could all do better, even if they're doing a piece well. There's a lot more they can be doing. I don't want to highlight organization. There's opportunities of doing great work, but plenty of opportunity to improve.
So turtles carry their home on their back. How can AI help patients carry their digital health information wherever they go?
This is a timely question and one that a lot of people are paying attention because there are some organizations that are popping up that are saying we can house all your electronic health information from multiple sources. The challenge is a regular consumer may not understand cyber responsibilities. They're not held to compliance standards like HIPAA or high trust responsibilities around protecting patient data. I know there's a lot of people who did 23andMe concerned about their information. Who owns the data? We need to be very intentional and educated on who we're going to allow that data to go to. I think the more you can stay in network or a combination of networks that talk to each other, you're better off leaving with the doctor and having that access to the portal that gives you that information until you want to make a choice. And then it might be that you do it yourself in a way that you can protect it. I think it'll work itself out. I think there will be standards and compliance and security that finds its way to these organizations. But it's your data. You have to decide how much to protect it.
With wearables and health devices coming in, where do you think this place to keep this data?
Any information you're pulling in yourself, I would keep it to myself. And if it is information that a primary care doctor is asking for because it's part of a chronic condition, or they want to know what your blood sugar level is on all the monitoring, of course, that's going to connect to your doctor, a specialist. But for me, I'm going to hold on to it myself. If the doctor asks and I have that data, it's my decision whether I want to make that available. I'm not comfortable sending everything out there and knowing it's protected. It's your call. I'm not in a situation where I feel like I have to hoard my personal information or health data. I'm pretty healthy, but I still don't want all of that getting out there and having people know it's really nobody's business until I know their business. I talk about my mom all the time. Everyone who knows me knows my mom's situations, but she's fine with it. She doesn't want people sending her information based on what's going on because somebody sold the list. And I worry about the wrong information at the wrong time. Our CEO talks about where something happened and she ended up getting information that contradicted what happened. And it was nothing to me, but he was hurtful. We have deaths in our family and then something about celebrating that person who has left us. It's got to be right. They're going to be using it. We'll go down, Alex. Really? Okay. We're going to see all sorts of wildlife.
How do you see AI being a protective shell for consumers?
That's going to continue to evolve. When people think of AI today, they think of access, information, and research. When I think about being protected, I think about research and making informed decisions. That's where AI gives us better insights. And we're not just following blindly to a provider that isn't listening. Right now, I think of AI protecting me by making me more. And again, AI isn't always right. That's true. But it's certainly providing different points of view. And it allows you to make informed decisions, verify, iterate on what you're asking, and go to your doctor with an informed decision. Well, I think the other thing, there is this fear that AI is going to take over everything. And you need to look at AI as it is a valuable tool. In your toolkit, as a chief revenue officer, I write emails, send information, do research, and I have to organize a lot of things. And I'm using AI to help fast track things I end up taking too much time to do perfectly or in a good way. Looking at how AI can help you in your role is just as important as recognizing the potential of it taking your job. So there's a couple AI tools out there right now that say they can develop this or do that for you. But there still needs to be that human element to make sure, one, that it's right, and two, that it's the delightful experience that you're looking for if you're digitizing a situation. We're leveraging AI. Sometimes AI can take you 90% of the way, but it's that 10% that makes the difference. I equate it to building a home. You can get 90% of the way, but it's that last 10% that makes it feel like home. And when you're trying to create that personalized, empathetic engagement with your community, with your members, with your patients, with your clinical trials, when you're introducing a new drug, you still need that human element. You still have to do that iterating to make sure there's still a way it's being leveraged. It makes us think more instead of being in the grind of the day to day that I could take over. We still need to feel creative. We were working on a document for our CEO, and she had provided first draft. We put it through AI, and it took everything of her out of it. We need to put her back in. It took all of her personality out of the words, and we had to keep beating, no, it needs to have this in it. I don't think we should rely blindly on it. We should look at it as a tool and determine my skill set to augment and leverage what I don't.
It's like infinite individualism.
Absolutely. When you get individualism, there's talk about the difference between personalization and being creepy. I think the beauty of individualism is it's going to get to know you in a way that feels intentional, feels when you're getting information or access to something, or it's directing you in a certain way, it's because it has come to know you in a way that it's directing you properly. We were talking earlier about all the cycles being wasted, and I think AI and personalization can get us there. We get into that highly individualized experience, and now it feels like it's actually for me. Personalization takes you a certain individualism gets into your journey and what I've got going on and guiding my next step and things I hadn't thought of.
We know who wins the race. In a world full of all the hairs, how does AI support the turtle?
Great question. People jumping into AI, losing yourself, not growing, becoming dependent on AI. The hare, the turtle is being very methodical in learning what different tools are available, how it can help be a lifelong learner of AI. You're never done learning. This thing is going to continue to evolve and grow and become more and more and have other things available to you. So I'm not going to say take your time and don't get started. Get started. Allow yourself time to absorb what it means for you, iterate, check whether something is working for what it is you're hoping the outcome to be, and then take a step back, see if there's another tool that might solve for what you're looking for a little better. I was using it to Verge and was brought to the attention of a tool that's focused more on marketing, creating narratives and engagement. The outputs were much better. But what I just said, I've already got it, I'm doing it, and I don't recognize there might be another way. The hare would have just gone on right past it. But the turtle is going to say, all right, let me take a minute, see what this provides, and determine whether or not between a combination of a handful of tools, whether or not I get what I'm actually like the perfect solution. I'm going to be a turtle when it comes to I'm taking treating, I'm listening to every single thing I could possibly get my hands on, going to conferences, listening to those who really have great insight. And, at Verge, we're building the AI garage. We've got people really smart on AI. I am just asking them whenever I have an opportunity, explain this more to explain that more to me. And the turtle's the learner. The hare's the one that just thinks they have what they need and goes running with it.
We know who wins the race. Where do you think Merge is headed next?
There's a reason I came to Merge after being in the tech side at the world my whole career. And having that combination at the creative and matching that with a lot of AI, technology, and analytics, and the opportunity to tie all that together, I think Merge is sitting in a really nice spot to be that business partner that not only says, sure, we can change your brand or your web design, but we can also tell you how to maximize its potential, make sure your infrastructure is in a place where it's going to maximize your potential, and be your partner through every step of that journey. I think, and for me, I care about patient engagement. My mom is my why of why I'm even in healthcare. It hit me a couple of weeks after I was here. Education in healthcare is actually marketing. You just don't call it because marketing sounds like I'm trying to sell you something. The reality is I'm trying to connect you with information you need. Yes, in certain industries, it is about you buying something, but in healthcare, it's about getting the information with AI. It gets the right information in the right time, personalized to you, and allows for a really pleasant experience when you have to get into healthcare.
Thank you so much, Heidi, for driving me around this beautiful area in your golf cart.
Thank you for coming down and spending some time with me. I love having a conversation that's more real and our ability to talk through what's going on and how we feel. We're all learning as we go. Don't put your head in your Let your head be out and continue learning. Don't think the first one is the best. Try different tools that are available to you and find something that feels the most closely aligned with what you're trying to accomplish as your most authentic self. It could be a combination of different tools. Recognize the human element isn't going anywhere.